Alright, so this is going to be upgrading a Windows 10 VM in ESXi to Windows 11. And we're going to do this without a user account. So the first thing we're going to do is go edit the settings here. And back where we have our data store, we're going to change this to our Windows 11 ISO. And then we're going to connect. And then we're going to turn connect network off so it doesn't have any network connections. And then you're going to come over to VM options, and in boot, you're going to force BIOS setup. This way you can control where the BIOS is going to boot off of. It's normally just going to take you into your VM, into your Windows OS, so you have to hit that setting. And we power it on. Now you can see we have a BIOS here. So what we're going to want to do, every BIOS is going to be a little different. So if you're following, it could be a little different, but if you find a boot section, this is typically where you want to be. And our ISO is mounted to our CD-ROM here. So we're going to have to move this one up above our hard drive. And that should work for this. So that when we F10 and exit, so now you can see it wants to boot from CD. Alright, now that we're at the Windows setup, this is very important. So you're going to need to open your registry editor and make some changes to allow Windows 11 to bypass the hardware inspection. So for that, we're going to open command prompt, and we're going to do that with F10. So for me, I actually have to hold FN shift F10, and we're going to reg edit. Alright, and then in here you got your local machine, system, setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new key, and we'll call this lab config. And then in the lab config here, we're going to add a couple different parameters. Bypass TPM check. We'll set that to 1. And then we're going to do bypass secure boot check. And same thing, set that to 1. And we're going to do bypass CPU check. And then you can do a bypass RAM check as well. It's optional, but I'll do that as well. Bypass RAM check. And set that to 1. Okay. Now that you have made these settings here, you can exit out, make sure everything looks correct. Didn't make any typos. And we can exit out, and now we can follow through with the Windows 11 setup here. And we should get past the PC requirements part. So don't have a product key here. Let's do Windows 11 Pro. Right here, checking your PC. See, that would have failed if you didn't do all the steps that I showed you in similar order. I tested this with a couple different things, and if you don't boot to that CD drive and get that going, and if you do the reg edit too late, you're gonna have to restart the process as well. So you want to reg edit as soon as you get into the Windows 11 setup. Do it right away, don't wait. And here is my main drive. See, ready to install. And now this process here can take, I would say about 30 to 40 minutes for the full installation process, where we actually get into the Windows 11 GUI in the main OS. So I'll skip it here for you guys, and we'll meet back up once we're actually in the machine, because there's really no other steps to take. So Okay, now that the initial setup has finished, we can make our way through. There is one more trick we're going to have to do here to bypass the login. I will show that momentarily. Okay, so right here. If it works correctly, you'll see a little thing here that says to skip this test. So we're going to do F10 again. Alright, and then this command here will allow us to bypass the login with the account. So it is bypass NRO. Okay, and now it's going to reboot here. And when we go through the same setup as we just did, you'll see that it'll say I don't have internet connection right next to that internet option there. This is going to take probably about 5 minutes, so I'll get back with you here in a second. Okay, now we're finished with the initial setup here, and we'll continue to adding a Windows 11 without an account. Okay, so now that we have entered that OOBE / bypass NRO command, we now have this I don't have internet option. And if you have your network card installed and connected, it'll take you to the account sign-in, which will not work. You have to go into the VM settings and remove the network interface, and then do the command that we just showed, and then it'll restart and you'll get to this screen here. You can enter a name, call it lab. Okay, turn off some of the extra features here. Okay, alright, now that that's finished, we are fully in the system here. You can see we got Windows 11 running now. The only thing is obviously our network is still disabled, so you can power off the machine now and then edit the config so that your network card is on, and then you'll come back in, you'll have internet, and then you can run updates and do all that. So that is how you upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11 and skip the account creation process through Windows. There's a lot of small little pieces of things to do there. It's kind of annoying, but that's currently how we did it on our ESXI machine here. Like I said, this series right here is going to be part of setting up a lab, and once we get our lab environment set up and configured, then we'll start doing some penetration testing. So stick along. Thanks for watching.